Cheers, guys. Epix 911, welcome to the Saturday, September 30th, 2017 edition of VR News. We're going to start things off with an update to social VR app Bigscreen. That is the VR app that allows users to bring their PC desktops into virtual reality where they can be shared with friends to watch movies, play games, etc. Last big update was in July. This is the first since that update. This one called the Avatar update. And as the name implies, lots of changes to the avatars in the app. For example, avatars now have torsos with 7 body shapes, 3 masculine, 3 feminine, and 1 neutral. They can be further customized with hundreds of shirts, jackets, suits, tank tops, and hoodies. Update also includes a major user interface update, improving the interaction design when using tracked controllers from Oculus, Vive, or the new Windows Mixed Reality ones. Full list of changes on this update via the link in the description below. Next up, if you have ever played an endless runner game in 2D on a tablet or a mobile phone, you're going to get the gist of what is expected here of you. The main difference being that in this game, you are directly playing the part of the runner, who in this game happens to be a football player holding a North American football. The point of this game is to run in place, work up a sweat while you are tasked with collecting coins and avoiding obstacles. Obstacles can be humanoid, stationary ones like walls, or moving obstacles like cars. Football, not just a prop for the game, it can actually be used to hit obstacles that you can't or don't feel like dodging. The game is going to be available for Rift or Vive for £2.39. And next up, just a reminder that the multiplayer cooperative FPS science fiction shooter from other SUNS, from developer Gunfire Games, is in a free VR beta even as I speak. Started yesterday, Friday, September 29th, and it will last until tomorrow, Sunday, October 1st. Game can be downloaded. I've included the direct download link in the description. The game seems to mix the feeling and the atmosphere from several popular science fiction shows and games. You're going to see a little bit like Borderlands, for example. In here, you and your buddies fly a ship around space, you dock, loot other ships, loot other planets in a fast-paced and procedurally generated shooter with a lot of loot, and it's basically the loot and grind cycle within the procedural levels. That's the aim, to kind of keep the players coming back. On Wednesday's episode, we talked about AMC and Dreamscape entering into a partnership where they would be bringing virtual reality experience centers to several AMC theater locations, also a few standalone, and that the technology would be technology from a Swiss company called Artanim. Well, we didn't have a lot to look at. In fact, we had really nothing to look at, and yet there was a video that's been available for about almost 2 years now, showing the technology. Now, granted, it's going to be a little bit more advanced, but let's take a look. So the video starts off with a man and a woman, and it uses a picture-in-picture. You can see what each of them sees in their respective head-mounted display. I mentioned the avatars on the Wednesday show, and indeed, they look decent, but not amazing in the video. Then again, as I mentioned, the tech in the video is now 2 years old, so likely looks a hell of a lot better now. Notice also the experience uses a backpack and several real-life props that integrate with the storyline of the game, like the cube podium with the rectangular inserts. The narrator instructs them much like a pen and paper dungeon or games master. The scene changes during the course of the experience from interior to this futuristic Blade Runner style cityscape called Dark City, with some really weird, strange dancing going on. Couldn't figure it out. No real explanation, just the couple on their platform, which is escalating through the city. They are then brought to a world called Jaga Minor that appears to look much like a fantasy game dungeon. They've even got torches that they're holding via real-life props. This is also where the experience shows tracking capability that extends out further than just the immediate podium as the players traverse a narrow bridge-type pathway with missing pieces that looks like they would cause the players to fall if they step there. And then the video ends just after they find a magical stone sphere. So the video gives you an idea of what you can expect. Like I said at the start, the technology probably quite a bit better. This was 2 years ago. My guess is that they're probably using wireless. 60 gigahertz would be my guess, or at the very least, much better graphics and probably a little bit more to do than what we saw in that video. I mean, don't get me wrong, it showed capability of what to expect, but nothing really amazing that, let's be honest, I would want to pay money for out in public. But probably just a snapshot of the capability that they have improved substantially since then. I guess we'll find out when they start opening these locations up. Well, guys, that is it for the Saturday edition of VR News. Sunday, and then the week starts again, but it's going to be a good week. Guys, as always, cheers.